Hi, I'm Maria. I'm here at the Y today, and I want to give you a few tips to help you if you're a senior and you're afraid you might fall. Let's get started. Okay, for our first exercise, we're going to use a squat. It's a great exercise that strengthens the lower body. So we're going to start with our feet outside of our hips. You can use a chair to hold on to if you feel you need it at home. And what I want you to do is move your butt to the back of the room first. The butt's going to move back and down, okay? Instead of the knees moving forward, but back and down so that we can really focus on our glutes and our quads, and then stand up. So let's try about 10, okay? So do that at home. I'll show you from the side. The butt moves back and down so that you can activate the glutes and quads and drive up, squeeze the glutes as you rise. A second exercise that you might want to use is a lunge. Just think of the lunge as a single leg squat. So separate your legs. Feel free to use your chairs again for support. Keep your hips square to the front. You're going to think about dropping from the back knee and pressing from the front heel. I'll show you. So drop. This is your flexibility leg. And then the power up through your front leg, using again the quads and the glutes. Let's try a few together. Notice how I keep upright. I keep my chest open, and I try to drop down and use the front leg to power up. Let me show you from the side. Dropping from the back knee, pressing from the front heel. Keeping myself upright as much as I can. Opening and driving. Okay, we can't forget power. It's a very important component to training the lower body. So today we're going to work on a power squat. So we'll sit down in our chair today, start with our feet outside of our hips like we talked about before. Okay, we're going to stand up quickly using the squat and then slowly lower. Power up quickly and then slowly lower. One more time. You drive your feet into the floor, activate those quads and glutes like we talked about before. Power and slowly lower. Why are we using different speeds? We're using different speeds so we can activate different muscle fibers and different types of contractions. Let me show you from the side. Ready? Drive up with power, push your feet into the floor. Activate the glutes. Sit down slowly. Okay, now we're going to talk about some strategies that can help you in case you feel like you're going to fall. The first strategy is the ankle strategy. When we're standing, we have a slight movement forward and back to our ankles, but today we're going to exaggerate that movement a little bit more so that we can get used to the feeling. You can feel your toes gripping into the floor, and maybe your heels might lift a little bit, but be okay with that, okay? We have to strengthen the ankles so that we are able to handle ourselves when we're in an unstable situation. We also want to sway side to side. You feel your ankles, how they have that mobility, and they're strengthening as you move. Then there's another little fun technique you can use. It's the ice cream circle. So you want to combine those two movements together, forward and side, and see what your ankles can handle. If you need to hold on, that's okay. We're just trying to increase our ankle mobility. It'll be very helpful for you. Okay, the second strategy is the hip strategy. And that's the strategy that you use in case you start to lose your balance when you're using the ankle strategy. So if you can see from the side, if I get to be coming forward too much, I start to use my hip strategy, forward and back. So I start to hip hinge forward and back. And that's what we want to stop us from falling. So I'll try it from the front. So notice I bend. I can bend forward and back. You can feel how my ankle strategy is still working, but I'm using my hips to keep myself steady. Okay, the third strategy that you can use in case you might feel like you're going to fall. Okay, it's called the step strategy. Okay, what you're going to do is you're actually going to step and stop yourself from falling. So if you have to use your hands on the chairs, that's okay. You're going to use the strategies we talked about before, the sway and the hip strategy. But then if you get out of range, just step forward and stop yourself. Using that lunge like we talked about at the beginning and the power movement to stop you from falling. So remember, stop yourself by stepping. Take a big step and stop. Okay, now we're going to talk about weight shifting. It's super important when we walk. So what we do when we walk is we shift our weight from one foot to the other so that one foot can move while the other is bearing the weight. Okay, so I place 3 circles down on the floor. You can use paper plates at home or pieces of paper, whatever, just not a tripping hazard, but anything that you feel comfortable. So what you're going to do is start with your feet separated. You're going to shift, so you place all your weight onto one foot and then move to the front circle and then shift all the weight back and move that foot. So you're bearing the weight on one side so that you're able to be mobile with the other foot. That's how we walk. Okay, a way to advance this exercise is to place 4 circles on the floor so that we're using both legs at the same time. Okay, so shift your weight to one leg, step forward, shift the weight, step to the front circles, and then move back to the back circles. Okay, for our last strategy, we're going to start in the seated position. We're going to be using seated leans. So if you have to, put your hands on the side, but if not, place them on your thighs. And what you're just going to do is get used to shifting your weight from side to side. Now, sometimes this is difficult for people, and they might lean too far, and they might have to take that step again. So this is your time to practice so that you're ready in case something happens. We can lean forward, because sometimes we lean forward too much. So we got to make sure we're ready. We're leaning in all directions, getting ourselves ready in case something happens. I hope these exercises and strategies have been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the health and wellness staff here at the Y. See you soon.